here. It is finally here. The 25th anniversary of that PlayStation 1 classic releasing in the year 2000, Final Fantasy IX. Now, whether there's a remake announcement or not, I want to spend today's video appreciating this classic Final Fantasy, and I'm hoping that you can join me and share your memories with everyone down below in the comments. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. All I ask is you to support the channel, hit that like button, and if you want to stick around for some more Final Fantasy content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, I'm recording this video just before midnight, just before we reach the 7th of July, of which it is the Japanese release date and the 25th anniversary. It's currently already the 7th in Japan, and they have put out a nice little movie with the new rendition of Melodies of Life out there to celebrate it. Whether we get any remake news, we'll talk about that towards the end of the video, but I want to bring it back and have a bit of a story time and talk about Final Fantasy IX and how it's impacted me after playing it. And believe it or not, I never liked Final Fantasy IX when I first played it, and allow me to tell you why. And if you want to chime in on your experiences with Final Fantasy IX, again, use that comment section down below. But I first got into Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy VII, and then I played Final Fantasy VIII. So the common trend between those two games they were very modern, not high fantasy or medieval like the Final Fantasies that came before it. So to me, at that time, Final Fantasy was this nice RPG with modern looking environments and places to visit. Of course, when the announcement of Final Fantasy IX was, I was all in. I had absolutely loved Final Fantasy VII and VIII, and I was ready for my journey with Final Fantasy IX. And I remember booting it up and, really appreciating and being really happy that I'm playing another Final Fantasy. But I was a pretty naive child, and I was comparing it to what I played before, and I felt like, to me at that time, it had taken a step back. The characters looked a little bit more cartoony, and to me it didn't look as realistic as what Final Fantasy VIII brought to the table, because Final Fantasy VIII was very movie-esque in its presentation, in its cutscenes and everything else in between. So I was already like, okay, and I felt a little bit different with the music at first, and I remember just not really getting on with it whatsoever. So I decided to just push that to the side, and I left Final Fantasy IX for quite some time. It wasn't until around 2001 and 2002 where I had a really awesome Christmas, of where I got Final Fantasy X, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 4 and 5 and 6 on the same day. I got that as a Christmas present, and I was blown away. I didn't know where to start, and I played Final Fantasy X, and then I thought, you know what, it's time to go back to the games that came before it, the 2D games, and I played through 6 and I enjoyed it. I played through 4 and I played through 5, and I really started to kind of get a knack of what Final Fantasy was back then in the early 2000s. And after playing those games, I was like, you know what, maybe I should give Final Fantasy IX another go. And it wasn't until around 2005 where I actually went all in and played Final Fantasy IX, and then I got it. I really did get what the game was and what it was trying to do. It was such a gem. It really was. It was such a tribute to the games that came before it. It really respected the games that came before it. Final Fantasy 7, 8, the references there, but it was the Final Fantasies, the 2D Final Fantasies where it really shined, and that was through its presentation, its story, what its characters representing, kind of throwing back to some of the jobs, classes in Final Fantasy. A lot of the music returned with the battle bass line for battles. The victory fanfare had the original jingle afterwards, and it was just a charming game to play. It was really nice. I think looking back on it, I think we can all agree that its flaws, there's only a couple, you can only count them on one hand, for me anyway, and that is that battle system is pretty slow. flow is very outdated, very clunky. I can see what they were trying to do, really impressive with all the animations involved in that, but it's pretty slow. Also, its story towards the end, the final boss, you know what I'm getting with here, and the way it's introduced, and that it just kind of came out of nowhere. I really truly believe that Trance Kuja should have been the final boss, and Necron should have been nothing really. They should have been some kind of build-up somewhere for that to happen, and they're really my only complaints. I guess the trance system as well, coming from a limit break system in Final Fantasy VII that charged up at when you took damage. Final Fantasy VIII, when you were in the critical HP, it triggered it. But trance was just something that built up a lot like Final Fantasy VII, but you did not have any control over it, and it was essentially wasted in a majority of battles. So they're the only real things I would change about the game, and I've played it ever since then. And I think it's time to talk about the PS4 version. I did a video in the top corner of my Final Fantasy Platinum series where I got the Platinum Trophy, and I really enjoyed that playthrough. That was such a true to form playthrough for me, because I just reminisced and I was like, man, I could not believe that I didn't get on with this game when I first played it. And of course, I got the Platinum Trophy, and I've got to say, it's quite a nice trophy to get, except 2 trophies. The one where you have to do 10,000 battles, screw that, relied on auto and all the boosters and everything like that. And then there's that jump rope trophy. I decided to cop out on that one. I tried to do it legitimately. I really did. It was quite a valiant effort anyway, and then I was like, nah, I need to use remote play and use an auto clicker for this one. But if there's anyone out there that got it legitimately, let me know in the comment section below, and I will congratulate you personally and give you all of my respect. So that was a really nice playthrough, and currently I'm playing through the alternate fantasy mod, and I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the PC version of Final Fantasy IX, because this is kind of what a lot of people have said in my videos when they've seen the footage. The remake they wanted it just the same as it is. You know, this is what the remaster should have been for Final Fantasy IX, because the remaster for Final Fantasy IX was very mobile coded. It was designed for mobile phones and then ported to Steam, I believe. But all the mods that have come out through the Memoria mod launcher, Megori mod, and like Alternate Fantasy, the gameplay mod I'm playing, brings new life to Final Fantasy IX, and I think it is the definitive way to play it. And I really suggest, if you get the chance, go pick it up on Steam. Get those mods, they're free. The people behind them are incredible people. There's going to be a voice acted mod coming out along down the line as well. It's probably the best way to experience it until a remake comes out. And this has given me another lease of life of Final Fantasy IX. I think before we talk about the remake, I'm going to mention the music, because I think Final Fantasy IX, after listening to the soundtrack, at first I didn't get on with it back in the year 2000, such a long time ago now. But as time's gone on, it's one of my top rated soundtracks when it comes to Final Fantasy. And I really believe, this is from talking to other people as well, a lot of people have the same top handful of tracks. I think You're Not Alone is up there for everyone. And then usually it's a rendition of Beatrix's theme, and then usually Kuja's theme, whether it's his piano theme when he first debuts, or the drums when they kick in, the organs, or just Dark Messenger during the Trance Kuja fight, is a track that everyone loves. Let me know in the comments if you're in the same boat as most people of the top tracks of Final Fantasy IX, or is there a hidden gem in there that you want to share with everyone? The way I always sum Final Fantasy IX up, and I don't know if it sounds weird, but I think Final Fantasy IX is the most Final Fantasy feeling Final Fantasy, if that makes any sense, especially when you've played all of the ones that come before it. But I also think it's a great first Final Fantasy to play because of the way it respects its past. And then we get to the remake. Now, time's gone on since I started this recording. It's now after midnight, and it is the anniversary. If there is any remake news, you probably won't see this video until later in the week, because I'll swap and swap the schedule. But if there isn't, this is the Monday video you're going to be seeing. And when it comes to the remake, and like when it comes to talking about it, obviously when it comes down to it, there's never anything been official. It's just appeared in 2 leaks and there's been insiders. I'm expecting it to see it next year. I've always been in that boat. It's just a matter of when the right time to announce it has been. Anniversary, of course, when you see everything that's been put into this anniversary celebration, you'd think that it would be a good time to announce it, but at the same time, it's not like a Rockstar game. This isn't Grand Theft Auto 6 where you just drop a trailer on YouTube and everyone's going to watch. You want it to be at a gaming event, and that could be looking at the rest of this year. You've got 3 events coming up. You've got Tokyo Game Show, you got Gamescom, and you have the Game Awards. If I was to say one of these events, I wouldn't say Tokyo Game Show. I probably would say the end of the year, because it looks like Square Enix, when it comes to their game announcements, they keep that window very close now. They made the mistake with Kingdom Hearts 4 by announcing that way too early for its anniversary. Maybe they don't want to make the same mistake here. But I'm really interested to know what your thoughts are on the remake. But ultimately, this has been a nice discussion and a celebration of Final Fantasy IX. I think it's a great Final Fantasy. If you haven't played it yet, go play it, pick it up on PC, get those mods, smooth 60 frames per second, widescreen, and a lot of customization options. It's a great time. It is a place we all return to someday. Again, please share your memories, thoughts, opinions on Final Fantasy IX. Let's show some appreciation. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.